We have one left. Young man started his own company, 17 years old. Was up all night thinking of a name. Looked in the mirror, and there it was. So tonight, anyway, he's bought a house. He's doing very well for himself, evidently, because he's bought a house. But tonight, he's going to teach us about the house that YouTube built. Give it up for Ben Smith. Sorry, his company is called Gingenius.
Thanks very much, thank you. Okay, so before I start my presentation, there's just a couple of things I want to go through. And first of all, I'm actually completely new to Ignite, and I just want to say I think this is an absolutely incredible movement, and I want to thank everyone who's actually made anything possible. It's absolutely amazing. So informative. I was just talking to my wife, Jocelyn, over there, and I said, this guy Sam's doing this talk about Edward Snowden. She said, oh my God, I love Game of Thrones. I was like, no. It's a new marriage, you know, we'll see. But on the point that Alex made, I probably should say, thank you for being with me. Secondly, I'd just like to say there's a sweepstakes in the room going on. Loads of people I know in here, and they're all questioning, could I keep this under 5 minutes? And I'm going to be pretty frank, it's pretty damn close. So if you are going to laugh, kind of like, ha ha ha, stop. And I should be able to keep up with myself, so ready to go. Okay, so YouTube. Because I haven't been to Ignite before, let's do a quick test to see who knows about YouTube. Are we familiar with these sounds? Charlie. Anyone? Yeah? Okay. Leroy! All right, good. We know YouTube. Okay, so there are 4.3 million hours of video uploaded to YouTube every week, which means if you look really hard, there's about 23 minutes of really useful information out there, and that's what I want to talk about today. Until I bought my first house in 2011, I found YouTube to be essentially a fantastic way to waste time. And when we bought our house, it looked like this, which we wanted to change, but in buying the house, I had no money left to do it. So I thought, we're going to have to do this ourselves, and YouTube might actually be a really good way to learn. Now, at this point, I didn't actually have a great DIY record, having only built IKEA furniture before, but more worryingly, I'd been a horrendous medical record, having been hospitalised 9 times in the past 5 years through accidents. I'd been hit by a car, dislocated my shoulder, bust my neck, torn my ACL, and most famously, set myself on fire chopping a tree down once, which I know you would have loved. So I was a bad candidate to take this on at best. But I was still convinced I could learn from YouTube, and so what I decided to do is set up a home YouTube account, and this way you can keep notifications and playlists and subscriptions and DIY celebrity stalking separate from your normal life. So where'd you start? Well, although I'd thoroughly recommend a smash a ceiling tile party, it turns out it's not really a safe method to apply to demolishing stuff. And the things that YouTube first taught me was how to break things without really breaking things. And this is the first thing that we did, which was demolish the bathroom. And let me tell you, at this point, this is where everyone shits themselves. You shit yourself, your wife shits herself, God. And your friends and parents will think you're crazy, and you don't really have any answers. And this is where YouTube is really useful. Imagine trying to find a book on a subject without knowing what the subject is. So with YouTube, you can search by what you see. So for me, it was old plaster, and sure enough, it's where you start to build a picture of what it is you're looking at. And, well, why is that useful? Well, being able to have a more informed conversation can help. Standing in B&Q muttering, old plaster, it just won't get you anywhere, and it's really helpful to have some kind of useful tips and knowledge. Then there's buying tools. See, a thing about YouTube is that you can find loads of information on where to buy the best tools and what things you need. And that will save you loads of money and time. And once you have those tools, you can even learn what to do with them, even though looking at them is just, enough for a bloke. It will take a few goes, but you can actually genuinely learn how to plaster using YouTube. I've done it, and if I can learn to plaster, anyone genuinely can. Finding good videos is the tricky bit, and often, because of the video's content are made by builders and not filmmakers, my advice is to look for videos with comments from people who sound like builders, then you're really onto a winner. If, like me, though, asking a manly question to a man in person is your version of hell, Comments on YouTube are actually really useful. One of the first videos I looked at was how to saw properly, and this is one of the comments I read. I'm going to ask a silly schoolboy question. I often get confused by spirit levels. When the levels show something isn't straight, how should I correct it? Should I lower the high side or raise the low area? It's just not clicked in my brain yet. As I said, finding good videos is hard, but YouTube actually tries to make it easy. So once you start watching videos, it recommends other videos and channels you might be interested in. Eventually, our iPad was just a massive DIY book, and I would watch things as I was doing them. These are some of the great channels to start with. B&Q, I would love to be sponsored by them. Ultimate Handyman, Wit, DIY Doctor. And from YouTube, I learned how to plaster, plumb in a bath, plumb in a toilet, solder a pipe, fit and cut worktops, lay laminate floor, drain a heating system, and a whole bunch of other things that have actually been really useful and have been done to a safe standard, shall we say. All for free and all at home. And I'm actually really, really pleased with the results too. It's taken us 2 years, which is probably why I haven't been to Ignite before. And we're not finished, but I'm really proud of what we've done. And I know 100% we wouldn't have been able to do it without YouTube. But finally, I'd like to say, well, probably been advised to say, don't do this at home. Doing this has given me a real respect for the work that real tradesmen do. And however many videos you watch, you'll never get a proper finish. Much to my wife's dismay. But I find it amazing that the internet has actually given me real life skills. And what I would say to all of you is that even if it's the most simple thing you can do, use YouTube not to just entertain yourself, but educate yourself as well. And I'm sure there'll be so many more uses in the future for it. Really like to thank you for your time, and well done for all being here. It's absolutely awesome. Thank you.